Hi, I'm Natalie Rydstrom and welcome to World Sports Weekly. Joining me now to discuss the international friendly match Costa Rica versus Japan is SBL writer and video contributor Richard O'Hagan. Richard, welcome to the show.
Hi Natalie, it's great to be back with you.
Now, Costa Rica's World Cup hopes took a massive blow on Thursday when star striker Álvaro Saborío was ruled out of the tournament after suffering a serious foot injury in training. They are the underdogs of the tournament, priced at a very long 2,501. How will Saborío's absence affect their match against Japan tomorrow?
It's a massive blow for them, Natalie. You lose a guy who's scored a goal practically every 4 games in international football. He's got 93 caps. He leaves them with a real dearth of experience up front, and that's going to hit them hard because they're up against a Japanese team that have been very good recently. They're very solid in defence, so they're going to have to work very, very hard to get through that Japanese back four.
Now, obviously, Japan will be wanting to rest some of their players. They too won't want to suffer injury. What will Japan's squad look like? The team they're going to play then against Costa Rica?
Well, actually, Natalie, I don't think it's going to be that different, at least in the first half, from the team that they will look to have starting their opening World Cup game. They've only got this game and one more to try and get everything settled before they go off to Brazil. So they're going to want to give the first choice guys a bit of a run out, a chance to play together, to sync together. They've been playing very well as it is. So I think what you'll see is actually a pretty much first choice Japanese team to begin with, maybe 1 or 2 little experiments. But the real experimentation will come in the second half when they bring on a whole raft of substitutes.
Okay, well, with this in mind, does Japan's odds offer value at 2.15 with BetVictor? Also bearing in mind Japan remain undefeated in their last 4 friendlies, which will add confidence headed into this match.
It certainly will do, and that's not a bad price actually. I definitely expect them to be odds on before this game. Markets reflecting a little bit the fact that they didn't play too well against Cyprus last week. This is going to be a different kettle of fish for them. Costa Rica are a better team than Cyprus, so they are going to be harder for them to beat. And that's not a bad price, all those things considered.
Well, with Costa Rica minus their key striker, Japan winning to 0, that's priced at 3.14 with Bet365. Are you tempted with that bet?
I'm not particularly, actually, Natalie, just because I think that Costa Rica can still score on the Japanese. One of the things that we have seen over there, their last 4 games has been every team except Cyprus has managed to get the ball in the back of the net. New Zealand scored twice against them, and New Zealand got knocked out in the final qualifiers for this competition. So I think that Costa Rica may score. It may be a Japanese victory at 2-1 or 3-1, but I think Costa Rica will find the back of the net.
Now, looking at the goals market, in terms of the over-under 2.5 goals, the under is priced at 1.61, which is relatively low. Does that sort of suggest that we are going to see a low-scoring match, or does that then add value to the over 2.5 goals?
Well, I think what a lot of people are expecting, Natalie, is for this to turn out as a fairly dull sort of draw because of the amount of experimentation there's going to be, particularly in the second half. If you've got a situation where a team finishes the game with practically an entirely different 11 to the team they started out with, then that can tend to suppress the number of goals scored. On the other hand, if both teams are doing it, you could also get a lot of goals scored. So from that point of view, I might be inclined to take that price on the over 2.5 goals and think maybe it might even be over 3.5. We might see a 2-2 here.
Okay, so we like the value here in the Japan win. What other markets should we consider for this match?
I think you've got to look at things like who's going to be ahead at half time. Well, I can easily see this game being a draw at half time, to be honest. That was trading around about 3.25 last time I looked. And I think, yes, look at the final score. Don't be afraid to bet the draw, but bet on it being a higher draw to get the value. So bet on a 2-2, which would, again, ran about 5.5 earlier today.
Okay, so you are expecting goals here. Richard O'Hagan, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome, Natalie.